Nemesis Reborn has been open for over a month now, and after riding it 13 times, I still haven't made my review about it. I've had exams, please don't shoot me. But now is the time I review this coaster. So to do this mathematically precise, I'm going to split this into 5 categories. At the end of each category, I'll give a score out of 10 for that category, and at the end, I'll find the average of all the scores to get the final rating of Nemesis Reborn. First of all is ride experience. Now, the original Nemesis was an amazing coaster, great pacing, really intense, not many dull sections except for that overbank turn, and once you got back into the station, you would have wished it just kept going forever, and the refurbished version definitely retains everything that I've said. The most intense part for me, and many others, is the downwards helix into the 0G roll. I like how close to the ground the ride is, and I've got to say, it feels like your feet are going to crack against the watch. Now on Nemesis Reborn, you go into the final turn, into the brake run, and for some reason there is some massive rattle. It's not rough or anything, it's just a sound you can hear, to be honest. It could be something to do with the track, the wheel, the carbon dioxide. There is not enough CO2 to not rattle. Because of that, it does set the score back a little bit, which I'm going to give a 9 out of 10. The theming, my god. They have spent Elon Musk's net worth on the theming of this ride. And they've not just spent it on the ride, but the entire Forbidden Valley area itself. It all starts when you enter Forbidden Valley with a new entrance sign saying Balance Facility, covered in red veins saying Forbidden Valley. You've got the arcade building with arcade games. Honestly, they could have done something better with that. But you turn around and see the massive helicopter in place of the old Nemesis gun. This is absolutely incredible. You have the Thunder Valley reference on the side, you have loads of eggs on the ground, the blade spin, like, it might just take off at some point. You have the old Nemesis sign, which now says Nemesis Containment Zone. Then you see Nemesis Reborn in its new black and red colour scheme, which looks incredible. Then you enter the queue for Nemesis, passing under the entrance with more of a military theme, and a searchlight which turns on at night. And this queue is so heavily themed. You have the old track painted in a new colour scheme, a gun which has recently had some red and black wires attached to it, the shipping container which is a rolling pre-show, you have the helicopter in the ride area, the maintenance bay is themed, the station is themed with all the veins and the ribcage bones. Yes, Nemesis does have a ribcage. You have the massive Nemesis eye with all the teeth around it. You have the smoke effect for when the train goes over the 0G roll. There is just so much theming on this ride. And after all that theming, people mention the lack of theming in this specific area. And I must admit, I am one of those people. But you've got to realise that they've got to leave some space open for cranes, which is a bit annoying, but we'll live. I'm disappointed the waterfalls haven't come back, and I know it comes with environmental issues, but there must be some way to do it. But with the amount of theming there is, I'm giving this category a 9.5 out of 10. Give me the waterfalls and I'll bump it up to a 10. Now I'm including the queue line as it's very different from before, and you can get some amazing views in some spots. You can get some great views of the corkscrew from this area of the queue line, and it's more open and not just a straight line. You can also get the same view of the first drop from the original Nemesis. You can get this view of the corkscrew just under the chain lift. Then the queue goes past the vertical loop and round the overbank turn, which you can get some amazing views of, especially with the vertical loop, which you can see the train go round. And I must say, that side is absolutely amazing. And then you get the classic and my favourite view, which is this view from the station where you see the back end of the 0G roll, it going around the overbank turn, and then coming down into the vertical loop. I do think the queue line can get a bit like, oh come on, I just want to get on the ride, which does take you out of the emotion of the ride, but that is to be expected on many coasters, especially when the park doesn't have an unlimited budget. With all that in mind, I'm going to give the queue line an 8.5 out of 10, one of the best queue lines in the park. You can tell Alton Towers have put some thought into the atmosphere of the Nemesis area, and Forbidden Valley in general. It all starts with this absolute banger of a tune you hear of Nemesis Reborn when you enter the Forbidden Valley area. Like, that soundtrack is so good. I could listen to that all day and not get bored because it's so immersive and atmospheric. The soundtrack also goes around the whole Forbidden Valley area, except for Galactica, which please, Alton Towers, re-theme it. You also have loads of actors around the area, protesting about the phalanx, seek the truth, Nemesis's feelings, just bringing you into the story. You also have all the smoke effects from the coaster, Nemesis's noises, and so many more little details that you don't even notice. This I've got to give it a 10 out of 10, because the amount of thought that's gone into it, and how well the atmosphere feels. Nemesis is a great coaster by itself, but the whole story of the ride makes it even better than it already is. The story started back in 1994 when the original Nemesis opened, and the story could be understood, but not fully, about Nemesis rising from the ground and loads of men having to pin down Nemesis. In 2022, when the ride closed to be refurbished, we started learning more about the phalanx, and as time went on, what they're doing to Nemesis. Then we saw the track for the first time in its new colour scheme with the red veins. We saw the track being delivered to Alton Towers, then bit by bit watched the track being installed. We then had Nemesis Subterra open, growing the story even more. We then saw Nemesis in its new form for the first time, with the slogan, "Back with a Vengeance," followed by the whole creature in its new metallic body, and with the new name, Nemesis Reborn. We then saw the opening date of March 16th, and that's when Alton Towers really started to bring the story together, with drone shots, teaser trailers, and then the final trailer. And still, after a month of being open, there's still so many mysteries to be solved, which keeps the story going on for generations. The original Nemesis had an okay story, but the new story really makes the coaster what it is, which is why I've got to give this category a 10 out of 10. So after discussing all the categories, it's time to come up with a final score out of 10. Now, I'm a mathematical genius, so this equation you see on the screen is absolutely easy for me. And the average of all the scores is 9.4, which is going to round to 9.5 out of 10. And no, I didn't have the answer written in front of me. I don't know why some of you are thinking that. So that is my review of Nemesis Reborn. Have you ridden it? If you have, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Latest video on the left, best video for you on the right. Make sure to subscribe to my channel to not miss a future video.